You are on the app just scrolling, looking for Mr. Perfect, and it feels like no one lives up to the mark. And at the same time, you just have no options. It's like there's limitless and unreliable options at the same time. I want you to ask yourself, what is my motive with this dating interaction? The problem with online is sometimes we can bypass some of those important indicators or dive way too deep into them. And my biggest concern with dating apps specifically is... Welcome back to the Dear Future Husband podcast. I'm your host, Christian Bevere, and I'm so glad you're here with me today online as we talk about online dating. Now, I get it. This is the modern world. We're in the 21st century. There is so much we do already online from our careers and our social interactions. Why not add dating into the mix, whether it is an app like social media of Instagram or Facebook or whatever they come out with next, or it could be an actual dating app. There are so many that I don't even know if I can name the most common ones right now. And thankfully, I will say, I think they started out more as hookup apps, or that's what they turned into. And there's been more come along that are actually Christian oriented and they have a vetting process. So that's a good direction. So the thought process is, if I'm already online, can't I meet someone online? And I will say clearly, yes, you can. Now, you may be surprised to hear that my husband and I actually met online, but we don't have a traditional online dating story. And as we discuss this, I think you'll understand what I mean by that. And if you want the whole how we met story, don't worry, that episode is coming in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. But we did meet online, actually through the app of Instagram. Now, there is a whole God story behind that, and I can see the interwoven details and alignments that even led to that moment of us connecting, which I will again share later. But when we had our interactions, we did not keep that connection point and getting to know each other online. That very quickly moved to phone calls, to in-person interactions, and then we even tried to limit how much we texted during our dating and engagement, because I think the nuance within our online meeting structure is it can very much water down the way we get to know people. So when you meet someone, there is so much going on internally, externally, subconsciously, consciously, that is in the evaluation process, even before we say our first word. So obviously we're seeing what that person looks like. We're assessing, this more so happens subconsciously, what their interests are, what their health may be. That's a big one. Even with the physical, is we're not just saying, oh, are they attractive, but what matters to them? How is their health? What's their longevity? Is this a partner that I would get to be with for years, or do they not take care of themselves? How do they dress? What does that tell me about their ambition? There's so much nuance within this evaluation. And the problem with online is sometimes we can bypass some of those important indicators or dive way too deep into them. This happens more for women, I feel like, especially. Let's say you're on their Instagram or their social media and you're like scrolling. Okay, what photos do they have? Oh, he didn't do his hair good in that way. Or, oh, I don't like the pose he did. Or, all these like micro things, which might not be as truly indicative of who this person is and the kind of partner they would be. Or we focus too much on, oh yeah, he looks great. I saw that 6-pack. I'm in. You're like, wait, what are his values? Some of the important things that, for sure, you don't have to completely understand before you go on a date with someone, but you'd like to have a good indicator of, is this person someone that I even potentially see an interest with long-term? Not that you have to figure that out, but why go on a date if you don't actually see a potential for future connection? From there, if you do think, my interest is piqued, let's have a chat here. The conversation can only go so far when it is online. Again, whether that's a text or that's DMs or that's an app, there's just this limited availability of, we don't get to hear tone. We don't get to have like a true communication style. We feel like we have to say everything perfectly or get it all out there within so many lines or so long on a voice memo. And that can be so crucial, especially within those early times of contextualizing who is this person, and even how do I present myself? Because we've all been there, right? Let's take it from a friendship scope. Maybe you meet someone online, whether it's like a new Instagram bestie, and you're just like, I love this girl's personality. I love what she stands for. I truly believe that we would just hit it off and be great friends. And sometimes you do, and you're just have this instant blossoming friendship. That's how my friend Tori and I have become. We had our first double date. I feel like it was really just, we had solo, like the guys were talking, we were talking. 3 hours later, we're like, we should be best friends. And that relationship has grown so much, even more so as we've gotten time together, as they've lived here, we've done all the seasons together. But then there's other times where you are chatting with someone, or you see someone, maybe it's someone you follow, and then you meet in person and you're like, I just got a different expectation from what I see online. So that's where the online interaction can just create this limited pathway where at some point we're going to have to deviate from that type of connection, because you're not going to have an online marriage. You're not going to have only online friendships. Relationships at their core, to deepen, need something more than an online interaction can offer. And my biggest concern with dating apps specifically is, what kind of communication style and patterns and habits are we creating in the early crucial development stages that can hinder us long term? Sure, you can meet a bunch of amazing people. We'll talk about that more too later. But what are you building with that might actually hinder you? So I'm going to give a few guidelines, if you will, if you are to meet someone online. I don't want to specifically say, yeah, sure, go ahead, use the dating apps. One, because I'm not on them. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not on them. I'm not seeing firsthand the interactions and necessarily key things to look out for. So I can't just give you a thumbs up, go do it. But if you are going to be online in any of these spheres, even if you're just like on LinkedIn and you meet someone, that's always a possibility. So here are the guidelines for if that happens or if you're seeking it out. Guideline number 1, get offline quickly. I'm going to prioritize your safety here. I'm not saying just meet someone and then go meet them at a restaurant late at night. What I'm saying is the terms of getting to know them deeper, like the deeper questions past what do you do, where are you from, all those things. Let that be in person. You don't want to just have like this pen pal type of relationship where you're not hearing their tone, you're not hearing how they light up when they talk about the things that matter, you're not letting it just be easy to say the perfect thing without having to actually back it up. You want to actually take account for how someone presents something, not just getting to write it the perfect way. And let's be honest, now with ChatGPT, someone could type in something and you can basically be falling in love with AI. We don't want that. We want to actually be in person and have or on the phone if you're long distance, but just something where there's actual human value and like the connection cues that are more than just visual, what we're seeing from a photo or from a text we're reading. You want to hear their joy. You want to see their personality. You want to hear their tone. You want to just get more of them, honestly. What I love that my husband did is that we actually interacted through Instagram messages. I think there were maybe 3 or 4, and then he took it to a phone call. Not too much of a huge step where I was caught off guard, but I got to actually hear his voice, and it was kind of a short phone call, actually. Again, I'll share more of that in our story. But he was really intentional about communicating clearly and directly. And then having our first date when we could. We were long distance, so we couldn't just meet up for coffee the very next day, but he didn't text me a lot. I actually wondered, is he not really interested because he's not blowing up my phone? But he just really valued getting to know me in person rather than just all virtually, because I feel like it's almost like the having your dessert last type of mentality of, you don't want to have it all before dinner. You want to savor that best bite for when it counts. And your interactions, like some of the joy, look, all of marriage is beautiful, but there's something so precious and sweet about the stage of falling in love with each other. And I just don't want that for my friends. If you're like my best friend listening, I would say to you, like, that's great. You can get to know someone over text or over the phone, but how much sweeter would it be to have like this memory in your mind of, oh, I remember where we were sitting when he told me that, or I remember the look on his face when he first told me what he was passionate about and what his dreams were. That is invaluable, and it really gives legs to the relationship of clarity, of confidence, of truly knowing this person, and then just like this vibrancy to your love story. Now, I know we all say, oh, I want the good morning, beautiful text and the things like that. And there's some great things within, the texting dynamic, because you will still text, even if you live down the street from each other. My friends, Allie and Austin, they live so close and they grew up as friends, but they still have the texting dynamic, and she's told me stories of, he'll just text me and encourage me stuff. And I love that. And that's important too. I don't want to just completely harp on the online stuff, but that has to be paired with intentional depth interactions that give life to the social world. We're not going to say that we can't have modern dynamics in any way. My husband and I still text when we're apart. But what makes those texting interactions valuable, and not actually what our relationship lives on, is our actual dates, our in-person, our conversations, the times when we can spend physical time together and emotional time together, and it supports all of the modern conversation. Guideline number 2, make it count. This may be one of the things that I don't hear the most on online interactions and dating. Is it's just so easy to make it casual. And there's casual where it's good, where you're not over romanticizing and falling in love based off a photo, and before you even have your first date, convinced you're gonna have 5 kids together. But what I'm saying is it's too casual in the regard of, oh, well, I can try this one out. A lot of the online interactions has created this day and age we're in, where like, oh, split the bill, or just do this, or just go like hang out. It's not actually even dates anymore. I loved getting excited for first dates. And I think that is a beautiful, wonderful thing. When my friends get excited for a first date, I remember I'm just living through my friends' interactions right now, but I remember when my cousin Maddie had her first date with her now husband Grant, and just like the excitement on her face before they even had the date and we were talking about it. I'm like, that's a special thing. There should be this investment of, wow, I'm going to get excited. I am going to get my hopes up a little bit because I see that there is potential here. It shouldn't just be, oh yeah, have another date every other Friday. That kind of casualness can create this lethargy to relationships, and relationships are so special, so intentional, that they should be put in with effort. Like the guy should be saying, oh man, I kind of saved up some money here to go on this date, or to make it special. I have actually gotten to know her and enjoy her personality, so I'm a little nervous. Like, right, there has to be some type of investment into the relationship. My husband has said in episodes before where he would keep dates a little bit casual when he was still getting to know someone, and I think that is wise, to not try to just sweep someone off their feet where you're wooing them, right? And that is a type of like wooing them to the point of you're not getting to know each other. But there should still be, hey, there's intentionality met with a cost for something. I've taken the time to get dressed well. I've taken the time to plan out a great date. Our first date, I was like, I'm going to pick out my outfit. I took some time deciding what I was going to wear. He took some time planning out where he wanted to take me, and was just really intentional about that. And what I see nowadays, especially if things are just treated too casual, is it's low cost, low investment. And I do believe that yields low results. Now, with our ministry of Messenger International, we've seen this amazing outreach that my in-laws pioneered from a word that they received from the Lord to go out and give discipleship resources to leaders and pastors all over the world, especially in third world nations and places where they don't have access, or they don't have funds and means to be able to get that to teach and disciple and lead their congregations and their communities. And what's so, so beautiful is seeing in photos and hearing stories of when these books have just been passed around the community and cherished, and the pages are worn and folded and highlighted on like all the things, because they're just hungry for discipleship resources, and they do it and they receive it in a way that's transformational alongside their people. However, we've seen when we give away free books in America, it's not met the same way. We have so many options at our disposal of what book am I going to read? I'm just going to download it or get another one. When there is low cost and low effort put forth, it usually doesn't mean as much. in America, what we've seen is when we, not even so much from a ministry standpoint, but in anything, like when I get a cute top that was on sale and it was like $4, I'm like, oh, cool. That's a great deal. And like, I'll wear it and it's nice. But if I actually save up money to get this dress that I've really wanted for a special occasion, I'm going to cherish that. I'm going to treat it, especially I'm going to present myself with an air of like, wow, like I invested in this outfit. Or maybe it's, even this podcast. I remember starting out, zero money coming in, investing my own money just to get a camera because I'm like, I want this to be good quality. I want to present this. I want to do this because I know that it's a need and could be a community around this. And what I see is when we invest something, there is a different type of response that we follow with. And so when we go into dating, if we can push aside this like, oh, it's easy access, or it's, who cares? The stakes aren't high. If it doesn't work out, I'll just go out with the next person. I'll just keep swiping till I find someone. That's a low engagement mindset where there are no stakes. Like, you should be getting nervous. You should be getting excited. There should be some stake in the game to, I really want this to work out. And I think equally, maybe it's not just online, but we've dulled the desire to get married. And we've heard, well, don't make that your everything. There's still career. Like, there's so many other things you can find purpose in. Yes, there is. But this is the desire. You only have one marriage. Like, that is a beautiful desire. It's worth something. It's worth your effort. It's worth your intention. And so when it comes to dating, even if you meet online, let's move it to a place of, well, I'm still going to invest in this. I'm still going to cherish this. I'm still going to treat this as if it's something already. And that doesn't mean giving your whole heart away and just like throwing it in and like putting all your eggs in the basket. But it's also not, well, we're just going to treat this casual. It's just a coffee. It's just an Instagram DM. Like, every yes that you give is so important and beautiful. And so my advice is let's cherish that. Let's make it count. Guideline number 3, I want you to ask yourself, what is my motive with this dating interaction? Why do I want to get on the app? Is it because I really am praying for this desire to be married? I feel a peace about going on this, or I feel led to this special app or this person, whatever it may be. Or is it, I feel like there's no more options out there. I feel like my clock is ticking. I feel like I have to meet someone right now because I just feel disappointed and lonely and all these things. Which one is driving you? I will be so frank. I know, even getting married in my 20s, I know that disappointment, that loneliness is real. But though we feel those things, so we process through those are not our initiations to action. Let me tell you, I wanted a godly, handsome man. Yes, I did. And I wanted to not be lonely anymore. I wanted to not feel like that single friend. That was not what led to me meeting my husband. What led me was my desire to have a godly relationship that was going to be led by him, that was going to be wisdom-based, that was going to be peace-fulfilled, not just angst-driven. So if you're saying, Christian, I want that so much, but there's no one where I live, and I'm not just saying that, there really is no one, that may be true. You may not marry someone that lives right down the road from you, or you may. The tricky dynamic within the modern age is there are so many options out there that we have to really assess, am I just constantly searching? And there's this FOMO mentality. There are all these other people getting married that I feel like I have to search high and wide, because that itself, whether you're on an app or you're just scrolling on Instagram or you're just thinking, I wonder what state out of all 50 states or what countries my husband lives in, when the possibilities are endless, it can just create this cycling effect where you are on the app just scrolling, looking for Mr. Perfect, and it feels like no one lives up to the mark. And at the same time, you just have no options. It's like there's limitless and unreliable options at the same time. And that's this dichotomy, this parallel of the age we live in. And so I think we maybe even more so have to be really led on, Lord, is this something you're directing me in? Or is this something, a tension and a worry I'm feeling? Because while I lived in Alabama, and I did think, I've met every person here in high school and I've already assessed. One, I wasn't ready back then. I've grown a lot. But I don't think any of these people were right for me. And so I did feel like my husband was going to be elsewhere. That itself is not wrong or right. But guys, I went so deep into just praying and letting my Friday nights be just me and Jesus reading the Bible, praying for my future husband, because I knew if I was out looking, I would force either someone here to be the one, or I would just keep scrolling and think, oh, well, where is he going to be? And he needs to look like that, and he needs to have that job. And so I feel like when we laser focus in, we can feel more guided and clear and confident in those decisions, whatever route it looks like. Whether you are signing up for the app with your best friend and you're just like, Lord, let this be right, and weed out the people that aren't it, or you say, I'm just going to rest in where I'm at and either believe that God can show me someone here that I haven't met yet, or give me new eyes for them, a friend, whatever it may be. Because 50 years ago, you have this pool of people in your town or your community, and you kind of pick and choose, and it's a lot less pressure because there are less options. You can feel more clear of, yeah, I'm going to marry my grandmother's best friend's son. He's a great catch. Or, there's someone I went to high school with and we've reconnected. Like, that was a lot more common. And in some ways probably easier because we're not overthinking the dynamics. And let's be honest, the divorce rate is the same as it was today. So I think there is a blessing so much so in the choice. And that is, we can go into a whole nother podcast on that. But I'm also comforted that even in the Bible, the very first book of the Bible, we see this idea of traveling wide and far and long distance relationships coming together. And there's an intentional reason that I think interacts between both of those examples. I'll share after I read this. So let's go all the way back to the Old Testament, Genesis 24. This is when Abraham, who was a friend of God, so led by God, he's living in this time where he's saying, God, you've fulfilled all the desires of my heart. You've been so, so good to me. The only thing I don't have is grandchildren. So we need to get my son, Isaac, an amazing wife. And let's be honest, the women living in this town are not godly women. This is what he says, just paraphrasing. He says, we need a woman that is from my hometown, that has the values and attributes of a godly woman. So he's like, Isaac, I got you. I'm going to be your dad wingman. Just trust me on this. Sends his servant back to their land, which is so far away, guys. This wasn't just like the next town over. It wasn't as easy as just like hopping on an app and changing your location. Like, they actually had some stake in the game. The servant goes all the way back and he's like, Master, what if I don't find someone that's willing to come back, or I just don't find a good match? And even the servant going out, says, Lord, I need you to guide me. I need you to guide me in picking this woman for my master's son. And it says that when he arrived at the city he was going to, the city of Nahor, where Abraham's people resided, he made the camels kneel down outside the city by the well of water at the time of evening, the time when women go out to draw water. He went where the women were. That's what we're doing with our apps or with our intentional dating, right? And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today and show steadfast love to my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the spring of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Let the young woman to whom I shall say, please let down your jar, that I may drink. And who shall say, drink, and I will water your camels. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. By this I shall know that you have shown steadfast love to my master. Before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah came out with her water jar on her shoulder. The young woman was very attractive in appearance, a maiden whom no man had known. She went down to the spring and filled her jar and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, please give me a little water to drink from your jar. She said, drink, my lord. And she quickly let down her jar upon her hand and gave him a drink. When she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels also until they have finished drinking. So the servant goes to this far off place, and he's looking in the place where women gather. This sounds like we can apply this to modern dating. He's going where the women are. But I love that his first thing he does before he interacts with any woman, and as soon as he gets there, he says, Lord, I need holy guidance in this unfamiliar territory to be led by you. I want you to bless his decision more than just circumstance, more than my own eyes eye of, oh, that person may work, that person could work for this reason. I want you to delight in this circumstance. I want you to be glorified, and you tell me who is the right person. And then it's met with this interaction of not just, oh, will they have this look, or will they do this? But Lord, I need you to make this vehemently clear to me by the way that this person carries themselves, that they are a quality wife to bless the servant who loves you, who cherishes you. Let this be a God-ordained marriage. And I think this beautifully illustrates some points that can be applied whether you do meet someone that's lived in your area for forever, you've known them for years, or you meet someone completely brand new in an unfamiliar place. maybe even on an unfamiliar app, I don't know. There is this intentionality to let it be wisdom-led and peace-led. And I think even the audacity for ask for really clear direction. Like he's saying, let the person that says this, that waters my camels, let that be the interaction that marks that you are behind this. Now, I'm not saying just open up a dating app on your phone and say, God, let the first photo be someone in a blue shirt, and you open it up and you swipe until there's a blue shirt. But I'm saying we can get really specific. And I believe when we are crying out from a place of, Lord, I so want to be led by you rather than just my need fulfilled, that he answers in ways where he's like, hey, I love when you ask and knock, and I answer and I give my people direction. I remember when Arden and I first had that interaction online, and he asked me on our first date, I threw my phone, which we were communicating on. I threw my phone and I said, Jesus, God, if you give me the peace to say yes to this person, if we actually go forth on a date, I need this to be my husband. That's a big request, I know. But I was asking from a place of so knowing the ache that I had brought on myself, brought to other people by dating in ways where I either got attached too quickly, or I knew it wasn't the right one and I kept dating, or, all of the misconstrued I did in dating before that time of like crying out to God for praying for my future husband. And I said, Lord, I'm praying for my future husband. I need you to guide me. I don't want to make a mess of this. I don't want to hurt this person in any way. Like if it's not the right person, just cancel the date. Don't let it happen. Don't let him come here so we can have a date, like any of the things. And I was like, this is reasonable. He's long distance. It can easily not work out. He could meet someone else, forget about me. The timing just not work out. And I'm just like, Lord, I don't want it if it's not yours, essentially. And he met that so clearly. And there was so much peace, so much clarity on both of our ends for, whatever prayers, for each prayers that we had been praying. And I love that even the person not in the relationship was contending and saying, Lord, let this be a relationship that honors you. Let you be so clearly mark the person that Isaac is to be married to. That, and then also the reasoning for finding someone far away was not just because, I feel like there's no options here. I've dated everyone. No one's like good looking enough. No, I want my son to have someone of quality of character. So if we are going to be dating someone that lives in another town or country, or you meet online, it's not because, I've already tried out everything and I'm feeling hopeless. It's because I will not settle until I meet someone that is of caliber, that is of quality. This woman, so Rebecca comes and she meets him, and she's not just generous to him, she's generous to his camels. She said, I see you and I see your needs. Let me be someone that is generous and responsive and caring. And he's like, yep. And on top of that, she was attractive. She was a virgin. She was pure. She was lovely. And so, hey, I think we can ask for someone that's attractive, someone that is caring, someone that has pure intentions, right? These things all matter, and they all lead into the equation of, again, what is your motive for going online? Is it to just find someone, or is it to find someone that's the whole package? That's, okay, God, if we're going to do this whole marriage thing, we're going to do it your way. And I'm going to believe that you are good and that you deliver. This is in the city of Nahor, which is her father's namesake. He is associated with that city. That's where his family planted the roots. So I believe there's some, maybe not richness, nobility, but there's significance to them in that land. And she was ready to sacrifice one to go be with Isaac. And then also, she comes from this place of esteem. So she's kind of the whole package. I want to encourage you. You can contend for the package. You can look for the package. Just look with the right motives. So Abraham sent just for a woman that would be of good quality from his people's area, but he actually got his brother's niece. Sounds a little weird for today, but in that time it meant the significance of pairing of someone that is, of the God's people. Like, that's exactly what he wanted. And I love the servant's response. Through all of this, he can clearly see, hey, this mission was successful because God has led it. And he said, blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his steadfast love and his faithfulness towards my master. So however you intentionally or by happenstance meet someone that you think, hey, this might be a quality person, I want you to remember 3 things if you're meeting them online. 1, get off online quickly. 2, make it count. And 3, check your motives. I believe these guidelines will help you in your decision and evaluation for your own personal decision, because it is personal unto you. It's your love story. There's not exactly one formula that fits all types of people of whatever age and year we're in. But I believe these guidelines can help you on your search online. And the key thing online, even with apps, is to not let it be an application. Let it be an avenue. I don't want us to conform to the patterns of modern dating and feel stuck in these cycles that are not necessarily fruitful and they're all kind of self-led. I want us to still remain God-led wherever we are, whatever career you're in, whatever stage of life, whatever your desire you're hoping for. Let God be at the center of it. Ask Him for clear direction. Ask Him, should I be on this app or not? Do you have something for me I've overlooked? Will you make it so clear? Maybe they're not watering camels for you, but let it be through their interactions. Show me, God, how you want to guide me, because at the end of the day, marriage is a sacred relationship. It's a time that we can honor God with the way we live and the way we act and the yes that we give. They're all so intentional, even in the dating season. And so I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you have your own kind of new ways to assess, should I be on the app or not? And if you want to hear more advice, if you want to hear more stories and more testimonies, make sure that you are subscribed, that you are online for the Dear Future Husband podcast. Subscribe below, and I hope to see you next time.